Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover the most spine-chilling experiences from the darkest corners of the world. Today, I'm taking you on a journey through 3 of the scariest hunts ever recorded. These stories are not for the faint of heart. Let's get started, if you dare. In the cold, barren forests of the northern United States, there are whispers of a creature so terrifying, even seasoned hunters avoid these woods at night. It's called the Wendigo, a creature of Native American legend known for its insatiable hunger and the ability to mimic human voices. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a frozen wilderness. The air is heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth, a stillness that sends chills down your spine. This is where the Wendigo is said to roam, its heart a frozen wasteland echoing the desolate landscape it inhabits. In 2016, a group of hunters, friends since childhood, ventured into these very woods. They were experienced outdoorsmen, familiar with the dangers of the wilderness, but nothing could prepare them for what they were about to encounter. Only one of them would make it out alive. The lone survivor, his eyes haunted by the horrors he witnessed, spoke of an evil that chilled him to the bone. He told of hearing a voice, a whisper in the darkness, calling his name. But it wasn't the voice of any of his friends. The group, their nerves on edge, decided to split up and investigate, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness like feeble beacons against the encroaching evil. That's when the nightmare began. They heard it then, a sound that seemed to slither through the undergrowth, moving with unnatural speed, circling them. Heavy footsteps, the snapping of branches, and the chilling sound of their own heartbeats pounding in their ears. One by one, the hunters fell silent, their screams swallowed by the vast, unforgiving wilderness. The survivor, his eyes wide with terror, could only cower in the darkness as the unseen entity stalked him, its presence a suffocating weight on his chest. He could feel its icy breath on his neck, smell the stench of decay that clung to its inhuman form. He doesn't remember how long he ran, his legs pumping, his lungs burning, the sound of his own ragged breathing the only companion in the deafening silence of the woods. He stumbled out of the forest days later, his clothes torn, his mind shattered, the memory of that night forever seared into his soul. Some say the Wendigo is a spirit, a malevolent entity that possesses the bodies of the desperate and the greedy, twisting them into monstrous parodies of their former selves. Others believe it's a creature of flesh and blood, a predator perfectly adapted to the harsh environment it calls home. Whatever its true nature, the Wendigo remains a terrifying legend, a cautionary tale whispered around campfires and in hushed tones. It is a reminder that there are places in this world where darkness reigns, where ancient evils slumber, and where even the most seasoned hunters can become the prey. The survivor of that fateful night still bears the scars, both physical and emotional, of his encounter. He refuses to speak of what he saw, his silence speaking volumes about the horrors he witnessed. The woods where his friends met their end remain eerily silent, a testament to the terror that unfolded beneath the watchful gaze of the uncaring moon. Some say that if you listen closely, on a still night, you can still hear the Wendigo's haunting cry echoing through the trees, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of the firelight. Skinwalkers. The name alone is enough to send shivers down the spines of those familiar with Navajo lore. They are said to be shapeshifters, witches who have abandoned their humanity, embracing the darkest of magic to assume the forms of animals, to walk among us undetected. Some say they are guardians of sacred places, while others believe them to be harbingers of death and misfortune. The desolate expanse of the American Southwest, a land of stark beauty and unforgiving nature, is where these creatures are said to hold the most sway. The very air seems to crackle with an unseen energy, a palpable tension that can be felt by those brave enough to venture into their domain. For decades, stories have circulated among ranchers, hikers, and those who live on the fringes of civilization. Tales of strange creatures lurking in the shadows, of livestock mutilated with surgical precision, and of encounters with beings that defy rational explanation. But none are as chilling as the tale of the hunter who found himself pursued by something that could only be described as a skinwalker. In 2018, a seasoned hunter drawn to the solitude and challenge of the region was tracking a large buck near the infamous Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. The ranch, shrouded in mystery and the subject of countless paranormal investigations, has long been considered a hotbed of strange activity. As the hunter stalked his prey through the scrub brush and arroyos, he noticed something unsettling about the deer's movements. It moved with an unnatural fluidity, almost human-like, its head swiveling from side to side, as if scanning for danger with an intelligence that sent a shiver down the hunter's spine. He pressed on, his instincts honed after years of tracking game, but a growing sense of unease gnawed at the edges of his mind. As he drew closer, his heart pounding in his chest, the deer did something that made his blood run cold. It stood up, on two legs, its eyes, glowing with an eerie yellow light, locked onto the hunter's. And he knew that he was no longer looking at a deer, but at something far more sinister. He had stumbled into a realm where the natural and the supernatural intertwined, and he was woefully out of his depth. Panic surged through him, and he turned to flee, his boots kicking up dust as he ran blindly through the undergrowth. But the creature, if it could even be called that, was faster. He could hear its heavy breathing behind him, feel the heat of its presence as it closed the distance. The hunter, his lungs burning, his legs screaming for respite, stumbled and fell, his rifle clattering out of his grasp. He lay there, helpless, as the creature loomed over him, its form shifting and contorting in the moonlight, a grotesque mockery of both man and beast. Just as he braced himself for the end, for the teeth and claws that would surely tear him apart, the creature let out an ear-piercing shriek and vanished, leaving the hunter trembling on the ground, his mind teetering on the brink of madness. He never returned to Skinwalker Ranch, the memory of that night forever etched into his psyche. The hunter, once a skeptic, now understands the power of the unknown, the chilling reality that some things are best left undisturbed. The Skinwalker, a creature of myth and legend, had become all too real, a terrifying reminder that there are forces at work in this world that defy explanation, forces that can shatter our perception of reality and leave us questioning our sanity. Chapter 3. The Beast of Bray Road, Bray Road. The very name conjures images of mist-shrouded asphalt twisting through dense forests, the headlights of your car barely piercing the oppressive darkness. It's a place where shadows seem to dance, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and where one creature known as the Beast of Bray Road has haunted the imaginations of locals and investigators alike for decades. The Beast, a creature of unknown origin, often described as a large, canine-like predator, covered in thick dark fur, with glowing red eyes that seem to pierce the very soul of those unfortunate enough to meet its gaze. Some believe it to be a werewolf, a creature of ancient lore, while others speculate it could be a surviving dire wolf, thought to have gone extinct thousands of years ago. Whatever its true nature, the Beast of Bray Road has left its mark on the region, its legend woven into the fabric of the local folklore. Countless sightings have been reported over the years, each more chilling than the last, but one hunter's encounter in 2003 stands out as a terrifying testament to the creature's power and ferocity. He was a seasoned hunter, accustomed to the solitude of the woods, comfortable with the sounds of the night. He had heard the stories, of course, but dismissed them as mere folklore, the overactive imaginations of those who let their fear get the better of them. But on that night, his perspective would change forever. He was tracking what he believed to be a large deer, its tracks clearly visible in the damp earth. But as he ventured deeper into the woods, the tracks began to change, becoming larger, more defined, with claw marks that sent a shiver down his spine. These were not the tracks of any deer he'd ever encountered. The hair on the back of his neck stood on end, a primal instinct warning him of danger, but he pressed on, his curiosity overriding his better judgment. He had come this far, he told himself. He had to see what manner of creature had left such monstrous prints. The forest seemed to grow quiet around him, the sounds of the night fading into an unnerving silence. He could feel his heart pounding in his chest, his senses on high alert. And then he saw it. Standing at the edge of the tree line, its eyes glowing like embers in the darkness, was the beast of Bray Road. It was larger than he could have imagined, its fur matted and thick, its claws extended, its teeth bared in a silent snarl. The hunter raised his rifle, his finger trembling on the trigger. He fired, the shot echoing through the still night air. The beast flinched, but the bullet seemed to have little effect. It let out a roar, a sound that seemed to shake the very ground beneath their feet, and charged. The hunter, his mind reeling, emptied his rifle into the creature, but it kept coming, its eyes burning with an unholy light. He turned and ran, his legs pumping, his lungs screaming for air. He could hear the beast behind him, its heavy breathing, its claws scraping against the ground, its roar echoing through the trees. He didn't dare look back, his mind conjuring images too terrifying to comprehend. He burst out of the woods, his clothes torn, his body battered and bruised, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He didn't slow down, didn't stop running until he reached the safety of his truck, the engine roaring to life like a beacon in the darkness. The hunter never returned to those woods. The memory of that night forever seared into his memory. He had looked into the eyes of the beast of Bray Road and had seen something ancient, something primal, something that defied explanation. The beast remains a mystery, a creature of legend and folklore, its existence debated and discussed in hushed tones. But for those who have encountered it, there is no debate. Only the chilling memory of a night of terror and the knowledge that some things are best left undisturbed in the shadows. These are just 3 of the scariest hunts ever, but the woods, the deserts, and the dark places of the world are full of creatures waiting to be found, or to find you. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and remember, stay out of the shadows.